Hi guys! Welcome to my review of Pretty Little Liars episode 609, Last Dance. Oh, how could they end it like that? I know, it made perfect sense because now all anyone is saying is that they cannot possibly wait an entire week for the next episode. That is certainly what I was saying last night. I had avoided Twitter all of yesterday, obviously, because I was in work and I didn't want to see anything or get anything spoiled. But once I finally watched the episode last night, I hopped onto the PLL hashtag. And of course everyone was tweeting being like, what? How could they leave it like that? I do think that this has been one of the strongest episodes of the season so far. It was just full of tension and red herrings here, there and everywhere, and I just absolutely loved it. At the beginning of the episode we see the girls being informed by their mothers that they have in fact been disinvited to their own prom, which they are really obviously disheartened by. It feels like Charles is winning. Not only has he put them through all of this trauma and torture and captured them and taken them away from their families and made their lives miserable for years, he's actually now got to the point where they are feeling that they are being punished for his actions. So because he is putting them in danger, the school feels that they will endanger everyone else, therefore they're not allowed to go. So the girls are really gutted, but the mothers suggest that they have their own prom in the barn in the back of Spencer's house. Not exactly the big prom that they had been dreaming of, but they decide that they don't really have any other option. Toby, who seems to be speaking to Spencer, which I'm very pleased to see because I was worried for a while there that he might have fallen out with her over the whole drugs thing. But he does seem to be speaking to her. He and Ezra both go along to this prom to be of kind of moral support to the girls. Caleb, on the other hand, is acting kind of suspiciously. He's gone off to New York, apparently to visit his dad, but when Hannah calls him and discovers that he's not there, she starts to think that he's gone off to find A on his own. What it actually turns out is that he's gone to take on this really huge, amazing, well-paying job in New York and get a place for him and Hannah in New York and pay for her tuition, and it just... oh, that was very, very cute. I love them. I really do. I think they're probably my favourite couple because I do love Spencer and Toby, but there's just always this slight element where I worry with Toby that something's going to come out that he's been involved, whereas I never have that feeling with Caleb, so... yeah. So before the prom begins, Alison gets a text from Charles saying that she better turn up to the school prom or she won't get a chance to see him. So she sneaks off to the real prom while the girls are at their fake prom and arrives at the school to try and seek out her brother. The power of social media is brought in once again because the girls are sitting flicking through what I assume are sort of Instagram or Facebook photos from the prom, and they spot Alison in the background of one of them, having thought that she was just going to turn up to theirs fashionably late. So they all make their way over to the school. One thing I really enjoyed about this episode was the fact that the four mums, were having a sort of like girls' night in at the same time as the fake prom. So they were all in Spencer's house and they were all drinking a little bit too much wine. Veronica Hastings, I think she's great. And she was quite hilarious when she'd had a few too many glasses of wine. But the mums are all there, they're discussing everything that the daughters have been through, and you kind of just get to feel from their perspective for a minute what a horrific time it's been for them too. However, having accidentally spilled the beans over Jason's parentage, Veronica starts to wonder if Kenneth maybe knows more than he's letting on. So they all head over to the De Laurentiis house to look for Kenneth, to ask him if he knows anything more about Jessica's death or anything more about Charles, and when they get there, they are confronted by Reese, the guy from the Karasimi group. They all of course instantly believe that that is Charles. I still just don't know. I don't know. If he's Charles, it'll still feel like a bit of a letdown, but as long as the A-team are particularly horrifying, then that's all I'm really caring about now. Long story short, they ended up locked in the basement of the De Laurentiis house, getting a taste of the treatment that the girls had when they were locked in the dollhouse. So at the prom, Spencer finds Alice and tells her not to go and look for Charles, but Ali kind of says, look, you never really even liked me anyway, and I'm going to do this, you don't understand, he's not your brother. Which Spencer's really hurt by because she's like, we've just spent years trying to protect this girl, and after everything she put us through, and that's kind of hurtful, she'd throw that in my face. But Ali's just in a state of utter one-track mind. She just wants to find Charles and figure out why he's done this to her. So we've heard mention from Instagram photos of Jenna and Lucas. They both appear to be at the prom. However, once we're actually there, we didn't actually see evidence of either of these people, so I don't know, that's a little suspicious. The other thing that I think is suspicious is that Janelle Parrish's name was in the credits or the sort of titles at the beginning and didn't appear at any point in the episode, so that makes me think that Mona has definitely got something to do with all of this. Sarah mysteriously turned up at the prom, having told Emily that she couldn't go. She basically said to Emily that she was going to her own prom back at her old school, that she'd promised her old friends that she was going to go to that, and Emily was a little bit hurt because she'd asked her to go with her, but thought, okay, well maybe it's just a bit too intense too early on. But when they get to the school, they find that Sarah is already there, and she says, oh, I went by the barn to look for you, and it was empty, so I figured I should just come here. Something sus going on there. I've seen a lot of people tweeting saying that they don't think Sarah is really Sarah, that she's Bethany, which in a lot of ways I think makes sense, but the one thing that I would say doesn't make sense about that is the fact that her old school friends, if this girl had just appeared now and sort of said, oh, I'm an old school friend of Sarah's, then that might have been one thing, but the girls met them in the past to talk to them about Sarah, so, if she's not Sarah, then these girls have been lying for her for a very long time. Anyway, back to the actual prom itself. There was one thing that I just thought, oh, typical Pretty Little Liars. Towards the end of the episode, when Ali has disappeared and they know what she's doing and they know who she's going to talk to, they're standing in a bit of a kind of clump, and so you've got Spencer and Emily, and you've got Toby and Lorenzo, who's turned up to the prom. He seems to have got over the anger at Alison for stealing his swipe card, so he's turned up, and Toby says, oh, I'll go and check all the exits, and Lorenzo goes, oh, I'll come with you. And then Spencer and Emily are like, okay, well, we'll go after Alison, and you're just like, right, okay, so what you're telling me is that you have two police officers here. In fairness, they have both been suspended because of this case, but two police officers standing there, two of the targets of Charles's rage. Would it not make sense to split up and, have Spencer and Toby go and check the exits and have Lorenzo and Emily go after Alison? Something like that. Not send two of Charles's victims or, people that he's after him while the two policemen go to the door. Anyway, I do enjoy these moments because I'm just like, oh, of course that's how this is handled. The end of the episode was just amazing. I jumped out my skin, even though I should have known that it was coming because it was in the promo, but at the point where he grabbed her and put his hand over her mouth and sort of dragged her away, and the very, very last scene when he's taking down the hood and Ali's sort of going, oh my god. And you're just thinking, this must then be someone that it must be someone that we know better than I thought that it was going to be. Either that or Charles is the person who is in the house and the person in the black hoodie is just one of his minions. I don't know why, but I just got this overwhelming feeling at that moment that it was Jason. I don't know why. I think I've always had this thing about it being Jason. And I know that I said a couple of weeks ago that didn't make sense because of the whole thing when Charles had lured him with the birthday party invite thing to that warehouse. I know I'd said at that point it doesn't make sense, but I don't know, for some reason there's just still this thing tugging at me a little bit saying, could it still be Jason? It was amazing. The end of the episode was so tense and so exciting, and now I cannot wait for next week. Speaking of next week, I am going to watch the promo now. The episode name is Game Over Charles, which I think is great because obviously the first episode of this season being Game On Charles, and now we've got this one Game Over Charles, so I cannot wait to see it. So let's watch the promo now. Oh my god. Oh, there's so many people in here that are... Oh my god. Oh my god. That was an amazing promo. That was so exciting because I genuinely never look at the promos until I filmed this video, and that has now just made me so excited. I really, really want it to be a huge shock. I've said this for so long, but I really want to get that moment where you're watching it and you genuinely, as that just promised, genuinely can't believe your eyes. That's what I want it to be. Through that promo we saw so many snippets of things that have happened in the past and people from the past, so I think this is going to be really good. I have a good feeling about this. My friend Lynn, her channel is Linny85, I'll link it in the description box below. She was great, and in my last video she left a comment which included the numbers of the episodes that ABC are repeating before episode 610. So I've actually started watching them already. There are 7 episodes. I will put the episode numbers in the description box too. 213 was the season 2 Halloween episode, which was super creepy and was the one that was set in the past. So it was really good. I watched it again yesterday. It just made me remember how terrible Alison was though. I think because I've been feeling quite sorry for her the past couple of episodes, I had managed to block out quite how horrendous she was, and watching that Halloween episode I was just like, you are vile and loathsome and awful, and oh, that was just incredibly stressful. There are things that I had forgotten about, like certain moments in that Halloween episode in particular that I hadn't remembered. But there was a moment where Jenna and Mona spoke to one another and were kind of like becoming friends, I guess. And there was quite a lot of stuff with Lucas in that episode that I'd forgotten about. I don't necessarily think that means that they're involved in any significant way. I feel like Mona must be, but I didn't really think that they were involved in any sort of massive way, but it was just nice to rewatch it and revisit these storylines from before. So I have to go and get some work done now, but I officially cannot wait for next week. I can't believe we're finally here. I feel like I've been saying this for so long, like, oh, when are we going to get to the finale and when are we going to find it all out? And we're going to find it all out next week. And the level of excitement I felt about watching last night's episode is going to be like times 100 by next week. So expect to see a lot of very excited tweets from me. So I really hope that you enjoyed this. Let me know in the comments down below how you're feeling about next week's mid-season finale. I cannot wait. And I will speak to you again soon. Thanks for watching. Bye. It was such a good moment in the episode because I felt like we needed something like that. We needed Charles to do something like really awful, or the A-team to do something